revenue management, super hot topic. Give us your 3 best tips doing revenue management themselves.
If a revenue manager that you hire talks to you about pricing first and not the listing level first, they are not the person you should hire again. Secondly, competition data. If you do not have a competition set up, you're just throwing prices at a wall and hopefully it sticks. The third thing is...
What is going on, STR Nation? This is your host and brother for another mother, Manuel Pani. I had a great show today. I had the pleasure of having Matt Mcdonald on the show. Matt is one of our coaches at Secrets, but he was also Mike's operation manager for a long time. And he has just a wealth of information. He has helped over 15 people submit their resignation letters from their W-2s. And we had a super fun conversation. Some of the stuff that we covered, Matt's specialty is revenue management. So we talked about his 3 tricks around revenue management. I also asked him, hey, if somebody wants to hire a revenue manager, what are some ways that you could kind of sniff out if they're going to be good revenue managers or not? And then we talked about, he has helped over 160 students at Secrets. And I asked him, why do some people make it out and some people don't? Like, why do some people actually accomplish their goals and some people don't? And so we had all of those kind of topics and all this kind of conversation. And the biggest thing for me that I enjoyed from the show, because when I got to meet Matt 4 or 5 years ago, he wasn't who he is right now, right? And so it's been such a fun thing to watch him grow and evolve as a person. And it really made me think about how much of who you are gets determined by who you see the future version of you being. It's really inspiring how once I saw him get clarity around who he wanted the future version of himself to become, how 6 months later, a year later, parts of that version of him have started showing up. And then he redid the same thing, right? It really created a clear mental picture of what the future version of him looked like. And then I got to witness it come out a year or so later. How much can you guys do? It's the end of September now. And I had a coaching call the other day and somebody was like, you know, what? I'm just going to wait to really push once January comes. I'm like, why? It's like, well, because things are not working right now. I'm like, I understand that. And also, you still have 3 months left of the year. There's still 1/4 of the year left. Why are you settling? Why are you accepting less than? If this is an obsession of yours, whatever it is, right? I don't know what obsessions you have, but I do hope you have one. And you haven't gotten there yet. Why are you stopping? What are you resting from if you haven't gotten there yet? Don't rest in the middle, rest at the end. So, having said that, I'm super excited to welcome Matt Mcdonald to the show.
How are you, E?
I'm amazing, man. I'm really excited because I get to see you in a couple of days as I head up to Boston. And I have many amazing pictures of just STR Secrets event that we've done together. It's a very... You can see it on my Instagram. It's a very famous picture of just me with my head on his shoulder. And we always have a great time. And I love hanging out with Matt. We first met in Nashville, actually.
Florida. It was the Florida one.
At the house, right? Amazing. So tell people, so Matt has been Mike's right-hand man when it comes to the operations of properties for a long time. So tell people a little bit about how you got into STRs, how you got into boutique hotels, how you have become Matt Mcdonald.
How did I become Matt Mcdonald? How much time do we actually have?
Just 45 minutes. So
45 minutes. Got it.
Give us just the highlights. Yeah.
I got it. So I'm Matt. I am Mike Sjogren's cousin by marriage. So I've known Mike for almost 20-ish years now, I would say. A little less than that, but pretty close. Kristen, his wife, and my wife are cousins, but they're basically sisters. So we always call each other we're cousins because that's what we are, truly. About 5-ish, maybe close to 6 years ago now. Quick story. I got laid off from my job at a university. So I have my master's degree in higher education leadership. And I wanted to, and I will at one point. Part of my goals in my life journey is to become a CEO or president of a university and really reform school, form a college or a university. No direct path as to what I want to do yet, but that's the beauty of it. But I have my master's degree and I got laid off, and this was right before COVID, around 2019. And that same exact night or that day, Mike texted me, and it's no coincidence. It was meant to be, however you want to look at it. But I got a text from Mike saying, hey, I need help growing a business and I need somebody. I know you're local. I know you just texted me because I texted him before saying, like, I just got laid off. So if you need any help with anything, I'm here to help. And fast forward, 5, 6 years. That's all I do today is I help. I love helping. I'm very compassionate. I will literally give you the shirt off my shoulder if you need it. But fast forward today, I am now, and that's a true story, so ask Mike if you need to. But fast forward today, I am now a luxury property manager, owner, investor, operator in the short-term rental and hotel space in particular. I helped Mike grow his short-term rental and his hotel portfolio as his ops manager. Now I am his consultant for his portfolio still to this day, but I absolutely love that life. That's my favorite topic, is to talk about hotels and STRs. So if anybody ever hears Mike say, ask Matt, that is me. That is who he says to ask Matt about anything that he has a question on. Total right now, I believe I manage on my own portfolio is 24 doors. That includes a luxury boutique hotel up in Newburyport, Massachusetts. I am also a consultant for revenue management, which we're going to talk about in a little bit, on some pretty high profile portfolios. And I am also a coach for short-term rental secrets, which again, another love, which is funny because it kind of encompasses where my life started in higher education leadership and working with students. And now I'm a coach coaching students as well as adults on transforming their life and finding their why and finding why they're doing this. And I believe it happened definitely for a reason, because it's just exactly where I need to be at this moment. But lastly, most recently, I've been investing in memories. I feel investing in myself and my family, my daughter, Skylar, who is 3, and my wife, Samantha. And if anybody knows me and anybody has seen my Instagram and just my portfolio in general, I love spending time with them. And it's why I do everything I do. That's a little bit about me in a nutshell.
That's lovely. That's lovely. And it's been such a pleasure, man, to watch you grow, right, over the years, and watch you grow, and the way that Matt helps and serves his students at Secrets. It's super inspiring. Because again, right, I think, Matt, how many Freedom Awards are you responsible for? So for those of you that don't know, before he answers, right, Freedom Awards is what we give out people at Secrets once they quit their W-2. How many of those are you responsible for this year?
Me personally, total, I just got my 15th student to get their Freedom Award. But this year, I'm on pace for 1 a month.
So it is now September. So he has helped 9 people quit their job this year, right? So let just best and can, right? So that's amazing. So Matt, when you have so many directions I want to take us on, it's just like, I'm like, a kid in a candy store right now. I'm like, oh my God, where do I go? Okay, so let's start with revenue management, right? Like, let's get that heady stuff out of the way. So revenue management, super hot topic. Revenue managers, very popular thing to hire right now. Give us your 3 best tips if somebody doesn't want to hire revenue management around doing revenue management themselves.
Yes. So just a little background in short-term rental secrets and outside of it, I am a consultant for profiles. So what that means is I do it a little different from other consultants. What I do is I like to teach people how to do it. I'd rather teach them how to fish rather than giving them a fish, right? Which is what consulting actually is. I do a hybrid approach, honestly, where I actually teach one of their VAs or a ops manager or them as the owner. I teach them how to actually do revenue management with a full course that I've built through STR Secrets, and they have access to that forever. So it's really teaching them, not just doing it for them. Do I also do it for them? Yes, to help them set up, but I also teach them. 3 hot tips, 3 tips, because again, you could go on this forever, because revenue management is, in my opinion, the most important part of building a business. Sure, you have to grow your business by talking to owners. You have to be very personable, talking to people. I get that. But when it comes down to it, you need to make your owners more money. Period. And that's the end of the day. 3 hot topics or tips. First and foremost, whenever I teach a new person, a brand new student or whoever it may be about revenue management, if a revenue manager, first of all, if a revenue manager that you hire talks to you about pricing first and not the listing level first, they are not the person you should hire again. Every single revenue manager out there should be teaching listing level adjustments or adaptations that you need to do on the listing level first before you get into anything pricing. You want to build the book of business that you have currently. Why are you neglecting the current business that you have now, and why you can make more money off that now to let owners get a little bit more happy, become more happy. You're more happy because you're making more money, but you want to make sure that the first tip is to make sure that your current portfolio is up to par with what you are bringing on to for new clients. Secondly, I'd say competition data. So competition calendar, for instance, let's talk about that real quick. The most important part of revenue management is the listing level. When you move on from there, you have to know your competition. And in Price Labs, if anybody doesn't use Price Labs, please use it. I feel as though that's the best. And everybody out there for revenue management will tell you that, will concur with me. Price Labs is the best. Whenever I talk about Price Labs to people, I first point them to the competition. If you do not know your competition, you do not know what you should be pricing your comps at. Right? It's just sounds very stupid to say out loud, but it's true. If you do not have a competition set up, you're just throwing prices at a wall and hopefully it sticks, right? And E being Italian, that should be a very good analogy, throwing a piece of spaghetti at the wall. If it's not cooked, it's not cooked, right? So I like to make revenue management very light because it's a very hard topic. And as you can see, that's how I teach people and how I coach people. The third thing is knowing your numbers for the competition as well. So in Price Labs, there is a whole market data section, and you really generally should know the pacing. You should know how each person, each property in your area of that bedroom type is booking out, how far they're booking, all that stuff. Those are the 3 hot tips that I would say right now that if you had to start today is listing level, competition calendar, and then knowing your market's numbers.
Amazing. I love the tip that you gave. I love the tip that you gave at the beginning, right? That if you have a revenue manager that is coming to you and telling you to focus on pricing before focusing on the listing level adjustments, they're not the people for you, right? Which then kind of, unfortunately for you, kind of created a new question in my mind, which is if somebody that is listening to this is hiring a revenue manager, how do they sniff out a bad one?
Well, first of all, they're not even asking about your listing level. They're not giving you tips about the listing level and what to change, the cadence on when to change things. So what I teach very importantly is the types of changes that you need to do. I call it a listing optimization sheet. And every single one of my students in this program, outside of it, whatever, gets that sheet. And it's just a big old checklist of like what you need to happen in your listing, what needs to happen in your listing. That's the first thing I send them. And then at the bottom, there's a cadence. So every 3 weeks, you should be changing your top 5 photos around, just reworking them. That alone, and I was just talking to Mike Riley about this because he was asking me, hey, I haven't gotten any clicks in almost a month in one of my properties. Okay, let's diagnose this. First and foremost, I guarantee you haven't changed around your photos in probably a couple months. Come to find out, he hadn't. So it wasn't a pricing thing at all, actually. It wasn't even a pricing. It was actually an adjustment on his portfolio in terms of the photos, the actual the listing titles itself, what photos you have in your portfolio, in your listing. There's all these photos that you should have and you shouldn't have. And then also exclamation points and those type of things in your title. You should not have those in there. Airbnb hates those things. And that's just my A/B testing. Everybody else can tell me something different, but things like that right there, if you're not as passionate as I am about just your listing alone, you should not have them in your life anymore.
I love it. Okay, cool. The next big love for you
Yes.
has been coaching, right? Which now that I know the story about the teaching and everything else, makes a lot more sense. I didn't know it before, or maybe I did and I didn't put 2 and 2 together. But we were talking before we jumped on air. To this day, you have helped over 160 students since you joined Six, right? On the boutique hotel side, on the STR side, and kind of everything in between, right? And on the STR side, both people that are just getting started, people that had property, have operations, and so on and so forth, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for the people that are just getting started, because again, I like to think about you guys, like meaning you guys listening to this right now, right? And I always like to think, how do I serve you the most? Most of you are in that space where maybe you have 1, maybe you have 2, you would like to have many more. Working on the W-2 exit, some fear, some hesitation, so on and so forth, right? After all your years of experience, Matt, 25 Freedom Awards or 15 Freedom Awards, seen lots of people come in and out of Secrets.
Mm-hmm.
What makes somebody successful when they start with short-term rentals? Like, what is there a recipe? Like, can we kind of extrapolate some of the ingredients and the recipe and help people put something together right now?
1000% I can. I would love that. 2 things I can think of at the top of my head. The first thing is anybody coming into this program or any program in general, they should ask you your why. Why are you doing this? What is the reason you're doing this? Why are you here? I've seen students come and go. I've seen students also succeed. There really is no secret sauce or secret recipe to it. genuinely is they understand what their why is and have a deep enough why where it makes them honestly get a little bit emotional when they're talking about their why. And that's the reason that's the driving force for you going forward in a program in general. Okay. If you don't have a strong enough why, you won't get up from bed to go and call those 10 owners that you need to call that day, because there's no one behind you pushing you. You're an entrepreneur now. We're all entrepreneurs here. Okay. We're all business owners. We're trying to be anyway. You don't have a boss looming over your head telling you, hey, you need to get this done at this time. It's only on you. And if there's no one else to push you, then you have to push yourself. And the only way to push yourself is your why, period. Okay. If your why is not strong enough, you will not do this. I don't care who you are. My why is to leave a legacy for my daughter and anybody really that I talk to personally. I don't want my daughter and my wife and anybody who else comes in my life soon to grow up the way I did when I was growing up. Right? I grew up in an inner city, didn't have much, and I don't want my daughter to ever see that again or ever see that ever. And I know what that feeling is like. And I wake up every single day thinking about that. And if I don't think about that, I won't do anything. I'm human too. All us coaches are human, right? We also have to have a burning why. And every coach that you talk to, I guarantee in Short-Term Rental Secrets has a why that makes them want to choke up. I guarantee it. So why don't you, right?
And it sounds like a silly question, right? Because I think having a burning why, having a purpose, having something that like inspires you and excites you should be easy to have. And also, I've spoken and coached enough people to know that's not the case, right? Like a lot of people have no clue why they want to do something and they have no burning desire or no desire in general, and they're just kind of cruising, right? And so if somebody's listening to this and is like, I just want more money and there's no why behind it, or I don't really know, I just want to get out of this job, right? How do you help somebody? And I know you have a specific exercise, so I'm just leading you into that question. How do you help somebody understand their why?
Personally, every time that I ask a student like what your why is, I have them go through 7 levels deep, right? So 7 levels deep is a kind of it's about a 5-minute video, and it basically gets you to ask you questions as to why you actually want to do what you want to do every single day. Okay. And at the bottom of that, about the 6th, 7th time, it takes a hard time at first. It takes about 5-ish chances, honestly, 5 times watching it, in my opinion, for every student to get to the bottom of what their actual why is, because it's not easy. When you actually watch that and actually tangibly do that exercise, you will at the bottom of it understand, I want to make $100,000 because I need to have my family set up to do what I want to do at whatever one, blah, 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 right? There's so many different reasons. But that right there, that exercise is the most important thing in my mind. And it's one of the first things that I have all students do, or any of us have all students do, is come up with your why and use that formula to come up with your goal and your why. So, yeah.
Love it. Having a why, number
Yeah.
one. What was the next thing?
So the next thing is, and it kind of sounds stupid, but again, we're all trying to build a business here. And again, or anybody here, you who's listening, you don't have a boss behind you pushing you to make diamonds. So one of the quotes that I use with my students all the time is, pressure makes diamonds, right? All this pressure that you feel right now, currently, that you're trying to build this business, I guarantee diamonds are going to come out of it if you actually work hard at it. Okay. And what you have to do in the very, very, very beginning is, after you do your why, you need to set up a calendar. You need to set up a cadence in your life, and you need to stick by that calendar. I show my calendar to every single student when they first join. And it's probably dumb, but I think it's worth it, honestly, because every single time they see my calendar and they see how crazy it might be, it's not, because it fills all my buckets. It fills my life. It fills my work. It fills my giving. It fills all the buckets in my life that I need. And we learn about it all the time in the boardroom. And I just basically, it rubs off on me onto the students, where if you don't have your calendar set up to help you and to have you succeed first, and there's another coin, right? There's another quote we learned. If you can't help yourself, how do you expect to help others? And helping yourself is by making your calendar set up for your life to then plop in there whatever you need to do in this business. Because guess what? There's a lot to do. There is a lot to do. I get that. But again, you don't have that person behind you pushing you forward. Make your calendar help you push you forward. Have your calendar as your boss. There's a good one. Your calendar is now your boss. That's great. That's fine. Let them be that. Because set that up too for success. And honestly, if I have a student who does do that and tells me what they're doing and on the calendar, and they show me their calendar and they're actually tangibly doing it, they probably will hit their goal and they'll probably leave their job. And that's basically what I always strive to have them do is leave their job for XYZ reason. If they haven't set up a calendar in a couple months joining the program, I almost guarantee that they're not going to stay and they're not going to hit their goals. It's almost like night and day. I can like tangibly see it. Yeah.
Awesome, man. So kind of switch gears here a little bit. So when we first met,
Yep.
you were Mike's operations manager.
Yes.
And now you've taken a leap to do things on your own, to start your own thing. You're doing your own stuff and everything else, right?
Yes.
And so again, it was already kind of step towards entrepreneurship, and then you've taken a bigger step into entrepreneurship and done things on your own. So one, I would love for you to talk about things that you're excited right now when it comes to your own business and stuff that you're getting to elevate yourself on.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would love to tell me, because I remember having conversations with you about this, is like, okay, what was the push? Was it just the fact that you connected yourself to a bigger why that kind of pushed you to, because you went from comfortable to uncomfortable to kind of comfortable, and then you're like, now you took a bigger step, right? Bought a big house, done all the things, right? So walk us through that.
Yeah. So first, what I really want to focus on now, my now into my future, is growing my personal portfolio for sure. And whether that be investing, I'm looking at a few investment opportunities, either having equity or buying one of my own with my partner, Chris Drake, on the portfolio side. And just growing my business is my main focus, because I know me personally, I would love to coach at some capacity forever. But I personally, I need to do what I preach. I need to teach what I preach, and I need to grow my own side, because that's ultimately how you understand real freedom. Really is growing your own portfolio, and that's my main focus right now, is growing that on the hotel side in particular. And I there's obviously amazing opportunities in short-term rentals and the one-off houses, but the upside in boutique hotels and resorts is just too hard to pass up right now. And I have the right connections to do that. And I've done it for 4 or 5 years. I have operated hotels, boutique hotels, for a long time, and I'm very good at it. And Chris Drake as well, who's my partner. So there's no reason why we shouldn't. And to your second question, actually, sorry, go off the first one too, is I want to also grow my life personally as a family. I want to grow my family. That would be a great thing I would love to do soon as well as just grow, like I said before, in personal memories, not to get mushy and get sappy about it. But when you sit down and you really like think about your life and think about your why and think about why you're doing this, you basically just have a flood of memories that come back, right? So why not keep building on the memories? It's all you can really take with you. So if I had one word of advice is to definitely invest in memories now, because you'll only become a happier person in any aspect of your life. So I wanted to throw that in there too. To your second question, being uncomfortable was being very comfortable with Mike has grown me as a person, because I had him always as a crutch, and everyone, internally, I always knew that. I always knew I had him as like a fallback, and I wanted to step out of that comfortable situation personally, because I also teach that. So why am I also not doing that? And about 2 years ago, about a year and a half ago now, I basically said, I'm going to go do it myself. And I did. And I was very uncomfortable, lost some money, did all the things that you should do, honestly, in my opinion. Learn from those mistakes, meet the right people, network, go to events. And I never did that before, because it was just easy to get a new property and plop it on our portfolio. It was just very easy. And I hate the word easy personally now coaching, because easy makes you just complacent, basically. And no one should ever be easy, and nothing should ever be easy. Life is hard. Life should be hard. If it's not hard, then everybody would be billionaires. So life is hard. So find the right people around you to help it make it less hard. But it's never going to be as easy as you think it should be. And it never should be, honestly. Life should always be hard. So me personally, every single day, I actually ask myself, how can I make my life a little harder today to then grow in the future? How do I make that diamond of my own?
Dude, those are some great points. I heard Joe Rogan kind of quote, it's probably not his.
Oh, Joe Rogan.
He's the one that said it, right? But it's the fact of like chasing or easy times create a hard life, and hard times create an easy life, right? And so it's really kind of stepping into that. And as you grow and you continue to push yourself, really embracing that. Amazing. So I do want to be respectful of your time, because again, you and I really like to talk, so we could stay here for forever as well.
Forever.
Before I get us into the last question, if people want to just learn more about you and revenue management, or just want to see your awesome life, and where can people find you, follow you, talk to you?
Yeah. Honestly, I point everybody to Short-Term Rental Secrets in my email for Short-Term Rental Secrets. Everything I do is run through there personally. So I have no problem giving them my Short-Term Rental Secrets email and having them ask any questions I need to on the revenue management side. And I'll even talk to them personally too. I have no problem. And that's matt.mcdonald@strsecrets.com.
Amazing. And Matt, the last question that I know you know that we ask all of our guests is, what is your number one secret to success with short-term rentals?
Having the right people and support around you is basically rocket fuel. It is rocket fuel. And I'm not talking about people you might even know. Sure, that definitely helps, but it's meeting new people, and everybody has their own journey. Everybody has their own path in life. And it's amazing to learn other people's paths and try to incorporate their paths in your path. And who knows, like E and I, we've literally become best friends. And who would have known, right, that was even one of the cases. Your energy, definitely, obviously, you, E, are amazing. You're a fantastic person, but you're just genuinely a good person. And that is incredibly rare, I feel, these days, is just being a really good person. So meet people like that. Surround yourself with people like this, like E, like Mike Shogren, like Mike Riley. Everybody around us has their own journey. So meet people, network, because the support around you is the only way you're going to be able to succeed. It's very hard to do it on your own.
Yeah, man. I appreciate that. And I absolutely agree. And I also want to give you some flowers, right? Because one of the things, and some of you guys know this, some of you don't, but we have some core values as secrets. And one of our core values is success or the success of others. And you have, and another one is always be growing, right? And you have embodied both of those values to the best that I've seen anybody as secrets. And I've been, again, lovely to watch you grow as a business owner, as a dad, as a husband, as a coach. And I am very grateful that you're part of Secrets and part of the family. And I know a lot of students are super grateful for you as well, for the real change that you have given them in their life. And so as much as you said, find yourself people like E, I also will tell you guys, find yourself a Matt in your life as well. Because again, he's also gotten me home safe in Nashville. So he's just a good friend, right? It's one of those very useful friends to have. And I do hope that, yeah, bud, absolutely. And I do hope that you guys enjoyed the show. There was a lot of good stuff in here. And for nothing else, guys, just understand that once you have the burning why that becomes an obsession and it influences your life, everything is going to change for you guys. So see you guys next week. Ciao, guys.